Suck it.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is United World of Sports. This is Dante, Suave. And of course, you guys know my co-host, Mystah Jay. And of course, there's Andrew. What's going on, guys?
Hey, that's funny. With the blur, it looks like what it does when you start doing objections. Oh, God. This
All
is not
right.
central, folks.
Great.
So,
Awesome.
so we're gonna start with John Jones.
That mess.
Okay. So, and I really need to like dig into it because it's weird because it seemed like he was retiring, but then I keep seeing stuff where he's posting stuff on Twitter talking about he's coming back. He's back. But he relinquished the title. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is I wanted to talk partially about the whole thing between him and Aspinall, but I also wanted to talk about what I sent y'all and somebody basically saying that you need to focus on his career and not his outside the octagon stuff. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, like in every sport, I call bullshit. And especially if you're black, I call it bullshit. But excuse the language, but that's just, there's no other way to say it and make it any clearer. We gotta stop as fans and as parents to children athletes, especially the black ones. We gotta stop with the whole, we got to figure out a way to get into our kids' mentality that they have to understand. Everything you do, you are not only representing yourself, you're representing your parents. You're representing whoever and wherever you work. You are not just representing you. You go online and you say and you do things. You go to the club, you say and you do things. There are going to be people that are going to look at you and say, that's how your parents raised you. That's how and it may not even be true. So there's that part. And then the other part that ties into his career, what Matt Brown is forgetting is that he has taken so much time off because of his outside the octagon stuff that you can't say that doesn't affect his legacy because there were so many fights that he didn't have. He couldn't have the fight with Francis Ngannou because at the time he was gone.
That's not true. He couldn't. Ngannou didn't want the fight because Ngannou thought that he should deserve to get paid more. That's why Ngannou ended up just leaving. Because
that was part of it because of what he was trying to do. But if I remember right, the whole reason that he ended up becoming champion, well, no, because he was in the light. Yeah, he was in the light heavyweight, but he had just moved over the
recording in progress.
Hold on, guys.
He was in the middle of trying to move over the heavyweight. That's what it was. But and then Ngannou was trying to do his thing, but they were wanting to set that up. That was it. That was another thing that they were enthused about in terms of him moving up to heavyweight. Thank you for correcting me. Now I'm properly remembering it. Yeah. But there was other fights that he did not have because he was gone. He had to relinquish. I feel bad for Daniel Cormier because as bad as he tried to trash him about his outside the octagon stuff, and then he lost to him 3 times, he only came close to beating him once.
Yeah.
But for Matt Brown, and I like Matt Brown. Matt Brown was a fighter. He didn't become champion, but I liked his fight. I liked his grit. I respect him. but I gotta disagree with him on this. If you at work and something keeps you from going to work, you can't say that does not affect
It does.
your reputation at work.
Yeah, it does.
Had you not done that stuff, you would have been there. You would have had more fights. Yes, he is a phenomenal champion, but the outside the octagon stuff is going to affect it, and people are gonna say that he ducked Aspinall.
Oh yeah, that's always going to be a case. They're going to say that he ducked Aspinall,
And
and
then
I
Daniel
don't.
Cormier is saying that he thinks that he would have beat Aspinall. And basically, based upon his history, I agree, even though I've only seen a couple of Aspinall's fights. Aspinall probably could make it interesting, but history says that everybody that thinks that they're going to beat Jones when he comes back from whatever he's got going on outside the octagon, they lose.
And the other part that comes out of it when it comes to the Aspinall thing is that I don't think that Jones feels like, he said this, that he felt like beating Aspinall would have done anything to his legacy. It just would have been another notch. And he
Yeah.
wasn't trying to look for anything. At this point, he was looking for things that was going to add to his legacy, not, not be able to. And we talk about this all the time. There are certain aspects and certain athletes to where they keep on going for that one extra fight. They keep on going for that one extra match. And then they get taken out real quick. Anderson Silva. Shoot, the whole Nigerian triangle, if you think about it. They keep on going for that extra fight, and every time they lose after that fight, it lessens and lessens what their impact was for there. John has always said, like, if it's not going to make it to where it's a cultural shift or it's something for there, why am I doing it? And so I get why he kind of was like, when he beat Stipe, he was like, there's nothing else for me to do. Everybody else that's up on the up and coming, I'll be more of a notch. I'll be more of a notch to them than they would be to me.
But him beating Stipe was like Evander and what's his face
George
beating Tyson.
Was it Evander Tyson or you could say Foreman Holyfield, because they were both
definitely more like Foreman Holyfield. I feel with that fight.
No, Holyfield would have got whooped. He just didn't do what he said he was gonna do. He said he was gonna get in there and he was gonna fight with the man. And then everybody got a plan until your body gets earthquaked.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. Earthquaked. And then he realized, I can outbox this old man. And
he ran. Don't use
I got something. I got something off that we might have to do a short about that I saw too when it comes to that, because there's a thing I think that they may be doing this weekend for the Stevenson fight that I think would pique both of you guys' interest on there. They said in order to stop the running, the ring is actually going to shrink as the rounds go along.
Really?
Stop.
That'd be cool.
They in Saudi, they got that money in order to do whatever
I know they got that money, but no.
Awesome.
I'll send you the clip that I just seen. But literally every 4 rounds it reduces.
You know what I say when me and you is having serious talks. Humans, they will figure out a way to go down the wrong path. No matter what you do, there's a reason why the prisons stay full. Because we will figure out, like, I really want to do this. Justification and interpretation based upon personal benefit. Now they're coming up with this thing, and even if it becomes a thing all the way across boxing, people are going to figure out a way to make sure that they can keep running.
Boy, you're going to be outside the ring, or they're going to treat it like WWE, jumping off the rope and bouncing off each other for...
They can... The gimmick they can add is that if your head coach gets on a treadmill, he can reverse the size of the ring if he runs fast enough.
You about to have
Yeah,
the
ain't
dudes,
no ain't no trainers doing that.
the dudes
Ain't no
brother
trainers
gonna
young
be,
enough to
hey,
do that.
How does I deal with
it's gonna be like head trainer for
right?
such and such passes away from a heart attack from running on a treadmill to save his boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
You
like
imagine that?
Oh
That's a
God, I
this
couldn't see
movie I
that.
watched, Funhouse. The first dude they killed, they forced him to stand on a treadmill, and they kept speeding it up, and they put this wall of like stakes, little spikes. The wall had spikes in it, so if he stopped running, he was gonna go smack into the spikes. Obviously, no, come on, no, come just
I just said we'll touch on that. That'll be a
yeah,
short
yeah, yeah.
later on.
But, and
Yeah.
I love John Jones, but he has gotten in so much trouble that if anybody dogs him about it, it's like, bro, I want to defend you on this, but it was like it didn't stop. It's like it literally didn't stop. I mean, it took some time off, but
Right.
it didn't
The only
stop.
way that you can really defend John Jones and anything that he's done in his career is because he always wins. That's it. The things that he did with the drug use and the excuses for that, because he never owned up to that. The situation with the arrest, the guns, everything that he's done to shed light outside of it. And like you said, we do have to get into a point to where if it affects directly your work on the field, it matters. It does matter. And anything that you do, if I was to go out here and go stand out here in the middle of Montgomery Road and sit up there and be up there like, you know what? I'm just gonna just pop off and start just shooting guns up in the air for it. They gonna immediately gonna sit up there and tell me, hey, you're representing OMS. You can't do that. You're representing my other company I work for. You can't do that. That's that whole thing that we always harp on with name, image, and likeness. Your name, image, and likeness, when you start working for these major conglomerates, they own a part of it. So if they own a part of it and they're promoting and doing anything for that, what you do affects their money coming in. And how many millions do you think that he's cost UFC from fights that they couldn't make because of the things that he's done?
He's lucky Dana,
But Dana loves him.
is.
And that's the other caveat to it. You get these owners that don't care what they do. They know as soon as they put him on the top billing, he's going to rake in money. I guarantee you, if they turn around, they say the White House is hosting their first UFC event on the East Lawn, and John Jones versus Aspinall is going to be the headline. It's going to be an automatic sellout. And Dana White's going to be sitting up there like, my boy played y'all. He said he was going to retire. And then he said, nah, I'm going to give you this one fight because he's going to do it for our president. And we going to do it all big up for him on the White House lawn for one at a time, first of a kind. And that is probably the only way that John will not stay retired.
So with John Jones, so my thing with John Jones, and I agree. So looking at there's a couple places when you look up Jones versus Espinal that are talking about that exact thing that like, so I looked at bloodyelbow.com, like they had an article on it, and that's their conjecture as well. You have this once in a lifetime event, on happening at the White House. John Jones, Aspinall, you're not going to miss it. If they can figure that out and give them both enough camp time, I think that's going to be that's going to be their event, to let John Jones right off into the sunset. My problem with John Jones is not that he shouldn't be held accountable for the things that he does outside of the ring, and that it shouldn't have an impact on his availability inside the ring. Is you can separate the two out. So for me, if you're looking at John Jones as a role model for young fighters coming up, inside the ring, 100%. Training camps, sure, why not? I don't know too much about his training camps. For how good he is, there's no way he's not a good role model, at least for camps. Then he's a cautionary tale for while, yeah, you can be successful, but are you the pound for pound greatest fighter the UFC has ever seen? The answer is no. Then there's no way to balance what Jon Jones did outside of the ring with what he was able to accomplish inside of the ring. Because, I mean, you guys can feel free to disagree, but can you name me another fighter that is better than Jones in the pound for pound category? I don't think you can. I think maybe Khabib, just because again, him and Khabib have that similar crossing weights and having a lot of impactful fights, being very good. But that's to me what it comes down to is Khabib, Jon Jones. Those are my pound for pound best fighters ever.
And see, Khabib did. If
For
you
me, he's not better than Randy.
Randy who? Couture? Yes.
Yeah.
Khabib is better than Randy Couture.
Yes.
Khabib has Khabib, if you want to rank the three between.
Oh, you said Khabib. I thought we were talking about John. Sorry.
No, John to me, I have to give him his props because see, my top three will always be Khabib, John, and Anderson Silva. Silva used to be one, but when Silva kept on fighting after he reached his peak, it diminished it. And it made it to where it was like, okay, I respect you for what you was, because every micro era of UFC has had it to where they've had their stars. Khabib is the latest one. And he just kind of overlapped with John because John was so sporadic over the past 6 to 7 years. But because he kept on getting suspended.
Yeah.
But before both of them, it was Anderson. And then Anderson took that loss. Then he came back. Then he broke his leg when he took the rematch loss. And then it was like, why you keep on fighting?
Yeah. Paychecks, man.
Right.
Right. It was the paychecks.
Right. And that's exactly the vibe that I felt. But like I said, we have to figure out a way, whether we like the person or not. That's another thing we need to stop doing. Quit sitting up there. Oh, I really, really like him, so I can really overlook his flaws, whether it be on the court, on the field.
I think you overlook his flaws. What I'm saying is that you weigh him. You have those categories where you can weigh him, and at the end, if you say, "Hey, your stuff off or out of the cage and out of the fight game absolutely killed us. We can't put you in the Hall of Fame." Okay, that's fine. That's different.
That's what they're doing in baseball right now.
Yeah,
well, even the pound for pound thing. How can you put him in the conversation? He spent so much time out that had nothing to do with injury.
Because even when he came back, you got to think about it. He never showed any type of ring rust whatsoever. He could be out for 2 years on a suspension, come back and beat the person's ass who he fought against.
And while I respect that, what about then you could put him above all the guys that didn't get in off the field trouble, that were pound for pound. They were always
because if you think about it, everybody in that division that was in that light heavyweight division beforehand that did that, he beat.
Yeah, he cleaned out the light heavyweight.
Yeah, but I mean, Stipe had been done. So
Stipe had just came off of being the heavyweight champ too.
Yeah,
he had just lost that champ the fight before, like 2 fights before then, and he had got hurt. Because when they initially started talking about it, was to unify the light heavyweight and the heavyweight with Stipe against him, and Stipe lost the fight, lost the belt. Then John took the heavyweight belt. So it's you cannot no matter what, and as flawed as it is, the record is impeccable.
It is. So the Hall of Fame discussion is it's not objective. It's all subjective. There's no objective metrics to go off of. It's quality wins versus style versus how many times did you get hurt? How many times did you tap out guys? How many did you knock out? All those kind of things. What was your specialty? How good were you at that specialty? And it's all objective.
Yeah, but
Right.
but there's also fights. There's also other fights that he could have had sooner had he not.
They're not going to care.
I mean, how many times?
They're not going to care.
He's 37. So, I mean, he was youngest champ at what, 21?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a long time to be fighting. Like
it's going to end up to where
those get there.
The debates are always going to be there for does the out the ring, out the octagon stuff weigh in on your Hall of Fame credentials, your pound for pound credentials for that. But pound for pound, it's wins and losses and how you dominate it. He's got the Hall of Fame. Now, the Hall of Fame, when it becomes subjective, here's the main thing. We don't know what dictates for them to get in the Hall of Fame. It could be Dana White saying, "Oh, that's my boy. We're going to waive all the rights."
So he's definitely going to get in the Hall of Fame. But
they might waive it, and as soon as that fight's over, give him his daggone his jacket and his plaque.
I don't know what I assume that the UFC Hall of Fame is a lot like the WWE Hall of Fame, and that it's whatever's good for business.
Right.
Make a show out of it and I'm not saying that people don't deserve it, but there's not that element like the Baseball Writers of America vote for the Hall of Fame. That's a completely separate entity from Major League Baseball that votes.
There's a good chance if you were a champion and you were a pretty dominant champion, you're in. So he's definitely gonna get in. I don't doubt that part.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at his wins, right? The legendary opponents, right? And I forgot he beat. I forgot two of these, but between Shogun Rua, Scott Evans, Lyoto Machida, Rampage Jackson, twice with DC, one of the best fights anybody's ever seen with John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson.
Which some people think he lost the first one to Gustafsson, and I can't really argue with that because I watched it.
That either. Me neither. I watched that fight.
Yeah, I can't either.
I thought Gustafsson won. I really did. And then he also beat Chael Sonnen and Glover Teixeira. I mean, all of those guys are a Hall of Fame caliber.
Yeah, but come on. Oh God. Don't get me started on Chael Sonnen. Oh God, why did you say that name? Oh, okay.
Chael Sonnen? Chael Sonnen is hilarious. I love Chael Sonnen.
Stop. What? That's another conversation. I'm gonna let you finish so that we can move on to our next topic. Go ahead and finish so we can move on to our next topic. You brought it. Oh my God, I can't believe you brought up that is a joke.
Game for the reason is because he can keep conversations going. You mention his name and he keeps it. He brings the conversation to life.
I respect him more for his podcast. I respect him more for his podcast because I feel like I really got to know him compared to what was happening the WWE that he was putting on and getting title shots. But anyway, go ahead and finish your point so that we can move on to the next topic.
I hope whatever is in the future for John Jones, whether it's another fight that's coming up or with Espinal or retirement, I hope that everything just works out for him. He's able to stay straight and narrow and walk into the Hall of Fame with his head held high and not talk about all the stuff that's hopefully behind him.
I just hope we don't pick up another gun again.
Shit.
Or get into another domestic violence.
Yeah.
So, and with that,
domestic violence.
Huh?
Nothing.
All right. With that, we are going to move on to our next topic, which is Bobby Bonilla.
The richest man that not do shit. Sorry, for a couple of decades. I want that
but is that not genius though?
You know what? It's genius. And my question is, why hasn't more people thought about that now?
I got the answer to that question.
Go ahead.
Because this topic has been brought up, and this is why I wanted to talk about it. Part of it is the quote unquote the culture and the way you were raised and the mindset that you are told. For our people, for instance, no offense, Andrew, but
Dante gets
Our people, they have opportunity. Go for the money. Go for the money. Get all the money you can. Get it all. Get it all. Get it all. Get it all.
Sure.
And that's why, and that's what ends up holding them back, because they go and they get the money, and then they're not responsible about it, and then they end up broke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and you see all these, you see so many other people that they get a contract and I want to stay with the team, so they take the structure. Most of our people don't.
Mm-mm.
They want the bag. They want the bag. They want top dollar. You better give it to us. Give it to us. Give it to us. Keep giving it to us until I decide to leave.
But the crazy part about that is that then you have players that sit there and they comment every time this happens around a year, and they'll sit there and say, well, why ain't I think of that? And I sit up there and read them responses, be like, why didn't you do that? The main two people that have that as prominent that do that. One, because baseball contracts are guaranteed. Yeah. So it doesn't matter however much you sign for, they have to pay you that full amount.
And they're lucky because they have a salary cap.
Right. He was lucky enough to sit there and have the foresight to sit there and say, okay, you can pay me this, but you have to tack on the interest and the inflation for what that amount would be at that time frame when that check is cashed, in order for me to be able to get paid that amount. So that $5 million that he stretched out, he's getting paid $1 million a year due to the inflation and everything that kicked in from that, and they have to pay him that every single year. So he flipped $5 million into 30. And any hustler in their right mind, if you tell them you can flip $5 million to 30, they're gonna take the flip. And especially know that every year at this time, I can sit up there and say, hey, it's this yacht that's $1 million. Hey, on January 2nd, I want it pulled up to the dock because your check will hit on January 1st. And be cool with it. But like you said, we are a culture of, we want it now. And then when we burn through it, we sit up there and be like, well, what happened? Where'd our money go?
They took advantage of us.
Right. They ain't take advantage of nothing. They sat there, the people that was around.
No, they did. It's business. It's business. Yeah.
But in that light of it, because the Reds are in the same boat, we deal with that. We deal with the same thing. It's not at the level of Bobby Bonilla, but we pay Ken Griffey Jr. the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it's not like
money, but yeah.
Yeah, but we pay him. He hasn't played a lick of baseball in over 10 years? He's taking photos at the Masters. He's not worried about ever touching a baseball bat, but he still gets a check from the Cincinnati Reds.
Right. And I think this is indicative of the contracts that and really the agents, right? Mm-hmm. So now you have the agents. So if you look at the agent for Bobby Bonilla, right? He structured that deal on that buyout for the Mets to pay him that much money.
Mm-hmm.
And he could do that is because the contract that Bobby Bonilla signed prior. So in '96, when Bobby Bonilla signed in the Marlins, he made 4 years, $23 million.
Yep.
If you're a guy like Bobby Bonilla, who my time watching baseball was not the guy walking out flashy Deion Sanders style, I need to notice.
No, everybody can't be prime time.
No, and that's fine because prime time played two sports. Like there is nobody like prime time, just like there's nobody like Bo Jackson. Those guys are a separate breed, but they're Deion Sanders is flashy. He needs the money. He needs to kind of show that off. I like that guy. So $23 million, even if let's say half of that, okay, $12 million. You can live on $12 million. And now from when you retire till the age of 74, you're gonna get paid $1.2 million a year.
A year.
Because he was part about his previous contract. And that's just the one previous. He probably I'm pretty sure he got paid from Baltimore as well before that, but I don't remember how much that was for. But those are the type of agents that looked out for you. They found you a good, sound financial guy that's going to take your money and help you grow, so you never have to actually work again when you're done with baseball. No matter if you're making, $2 million a year, $25 million a year, they're gonna work it so you have as much money coming back in from investments and everything like that. You got to find a good financial guy. You hear about it all the time, and in a lot of the sports shows that you watch, you have these major league athletes making a lot of money, and then all their friends and family are on their payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not making any money. They're spending money.
They're spending it all.
Friends make money. And it's like, well, if they were your friends, they wouldn't be on your payroll. They just come over to
have doing some type of service.
Yeah.
To be on their payroll. If they just sit up there and they just hold your bags and they getting 100,000, it's like,
yeah. And then they get into like, or they get hit up because, it's that rags to riches story, right? Oh, the first thing I'm going to do when I get my first paycheck is I'm going to pull everybody out of the subsidized housing or out of the ghetto or whatever, situation they're in.
They do think that
is that they understand what money. They don't understand the impact that instant money has.
Right. And it's crazy because
I'm thinking that, trust me, I'd love to be able to play baseball and make $24 million over 4 years. That would be awesome.
Right.
I probably would run into the same problem. Like, I wouldn't know what the hell to spend it on, and I'd probably get it broke because I don't know what that struggle would be like. I know how to struggle with money, you're paycheck to paycheck. I know that one. I can.
It's to a point now to where, like, when you see all these kids now, because we also got to remember in that age, in the late 90s, 2000s stuff, there was no cap on what they were signing those contracts on. Baseball's the only one that really doesn't have a structured cap. Has never had a structured cap on.
But back then, baseball didn't have near as much money.
No. So 24 million back then, like they said, the contract that he signed was for what? It was.
Bobby O'Neill was the highest paid baseball player.
Yeah, he was the highest paid player for it. And then when he signed that contract, it inflated to the 65 million value that it is now. And that's where
it was Mets contract that made him the highest paid player, $29.1 million.
Yep. And that's crazy now because shoot, what are they talking about? There's a possibility that the next player might be the first $1 billion player.
I think Ellie will end up being the first $1 billion
player. Yep. And that's going to take him completely out of Cincinnati's market. We'll see him in LA or New York.
Maybe. Here's the thing: is Juan Soto is really going to be the test for that. He got a lot of money from the Mets. He got $750 million from the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't produce, and I mean produce, to the point where you go, wow, that 700, you're getting that massive return on that 750. And I'm talking deep playoff runs, World Series titles. He's getting MVPs and everything like that because the Mets are going to bring in money because they're the Mets where they are. But if you don't bring in the other stuff, I think that could be a real cautionary tale. And I think that's going to make a lot of people, especially people like the Yankees and the Dodgers, who both just spent big money, both on Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. I think that caused them to be very, very gun shy when it comes to signing the next big guy, because Juan Soto is that 5-tool generational player that should have been an absolute hit.
And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because Ellie doesn't come up for a few years.
Yeah,
so
3 years ago.
Yeah, so it's not going to really matter when it comes to it, but
maybe if he
ever, I don't think Ellie's going to even reach it because Ellie's got to show that he has the if he can show that he can hit 40 home runs and have the 40 steals on a consistent basis and minimize the strikeouts, then yeah.
I think he needs to be closer to a 50-60 guy. I think he needs to be 50 home runs, 60-70 stolen bases. I think he needs to hit Ricky Henderson type numbers on stolen bases
to be able to constitute that. He's not going
to be that, because if not, and you're just paying for a 3-tool player, because his defense is while his defense is better than average,
Right. It's not
as strong.
well, he's not good. He's not Gold Glove yet.
Right, but he's plus in speed, plus in contacts, plus with power. That's worth 700. Now you got to add those additional things in where your consistency is what's going to bring you that next 300.
So now the question becomes: do the Reds sit there and figure out a way to do a Bobby Bonilla style contract?
No, no, I don't think so because there's no appetite for that. So if you look at the Reds as a whole, right? Their World Series titles were all guys that they built, either through the draft or, just minor league signings here and there and brought up and developed and things like that. They didn't have, these teams that had a ton of talent brought in from the outside. I think I think they lost a lot of appetite for spending big money and handicapping their team with Joey Votto.
That's what I was about to say. That was my next question.
Votto, and I think he is a wonderful human and a great baseball player. His injuries halfway through that contract and through the rest of the contract really hurts. And then the other one that really hurt him was the Brandon Phillips contract. That was a weird 3-year deal, and they spent a ton of money that you're like, okay, well, Brandon Phillips for the last 5 years has been absolutely amazing, worth a thank you, maybe an extra 10 mil on top of the contract. There was a signing bonus. He's not worth it. They spent a lot of money on Brandon Phillips in that last contract they signed, which is a weird contract. And I think that really hamstrung the team, and they kind of try to run it back and try to capture that magic that they did the year before, and
it never worked. Funny thing about Brandon Phillips now is that he's making money off the WWE.
Yeah, yes, his wife's out there. Yeah. But I think the Reds are okay with moving on. It's the big thing for the Reds is while you have these hundreds $1 million players on your team that you have brought up,
you better win.
Doing to bolster them in their young career so we can take advantage of them before they leave. So
right.
Are you making the mid-season trades to update your bullpen to strengthen? I'm missing my starting rotation isn't that great right now. My 4 and 5 guys can get upgraded. What are you going out and finding 2 new rotation guys to bring in? Are you going? I need a third baseman. My third base is okay, but if I can get a solid third baseman, let me trade and bring in a third baseman to shore up that position and really make a run while you have Ellie for cheap and on his rookie and then arbitration years. So
when is the trade deadline? Because I'm seeing blurts that they talking about
the 30th.
It's the 30th?
It's typically July 31st. It fluctuates somewhere around there.
So I wonder why they're already talking about. Oh yeah, it's the 31st. Because there's a report out there right now that Skeens might be on the market.
Oh, Paul Skeens?
Yeah.
He's a commodity that the Pirates can't afford to keep.
Of course.
The Reds can't afford to trade for him either. That's the problem, because what the Pirates will want back for him is the stuff that we're working on too. Us and the Pirates are in the same boat, and we can't give the Pirates all of our prospects to get Skeens. I'm not saying Skeens isn't worth it. I think Skeens to the right team makes all the difference in the world. He could, wherever he goes, be the difference between wild card and winning your division.
He might go to the Mets.
I would be surprised if he doesn't end up at the Mets, or if he doesn't end up in what's its bucket? Not LA, but
San Diego.
Yes, thank you.
I would say that San Diego does need a pitcher, because right now that's what's killing them is their pitching. Yeah. So it would be to where that might be an ideal spot for them.
That or Philly. Skeens could end up in Philly to really shore up and just make their starting rotation as dominant as possible for as cheap as possible.
That is a viable option.
Because if you have to go, think about it. If you have to go out and play arguably the best baseball player in the game right now in Shohei Ohtani, how much firepower do you want? As much as you can get, right? I I don't want to throw him the same type of pitcher 2 games in a row. I don't want him to see righty, and then like I want to be able to mix him up every single day. I want to be able to confuse the crap out of him because he is just that good that he's going to make the adjustment. And if I only get 2 at bats where he doesn't make an impact, that might be the difference between winning and losing the game. So I got to minimize Shohei's impact because for me, the World Series for the National League goes through LA. I think the Dodgers are
they are the cream of the crop.
They're just hands down where you're going to go because they're getting Blake Snell back, and that's huge. They get Blake Snell back, and they're getting their either the reliever, or their closer back this week. So they're getting healthy, and they haven't had any major injuries. Plus, Ohtani is starting to pitch too.
He's starting to pitch again. That's what makes them dangerous.
Yeah, so it's just, man, there's so many facets, and for me, it's not that I don't like the Dodgers. It's that I'm jealous of the Dodgers and what they have, and I kind of want a piece of it for the Reds.
It never fails. We'll never be in that aspect of it.
All right. And with that, we are going to move on to our last topic of the day, and that is the NFC North.
Oh, so we are the champions, my friend.
We live in Cincinnati.
Wait, where did that come from?
Hey, Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, that's the East. My bad. No,
I was like, what?
No, I was messing with you for the Detroit.
No, hold on. I feel like because of that, you have to wear a Cowboys jersey.
Never.
Or a Giants jersey.
Never.
On the podcast.
Never. I'll get a Saquon Giants jersey. It's probably on discount right now.
You have to wear a Daniel Jones jersey.
No, I will never wear.
And then you have to say 2 nice things about Daniel Jones.
He's with the Indianapolis Colts, and he used to hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. There's the 2 nice things from Daniel Jones.
Love it.
All right. So the first team up will be the Detroit Lions.
Aww.
So obviously, this is going to be a test, and just so everybody knows, other than I feel like within the division that the Lions are going to dominate the division. So everybody, all the other teams, will split with whoever they play within the division that is not the Lions. Just so you know ahead of time. I decided to make that a caveat.
So you're basically saying that they're gonna sweep the division.
I feel like it because you don't know what the other teams are gonna be for real. Because you don't know what the line is gonna look like. So you don't know what Kevin Love and Brandon Jacobs are gonna be. And if they've been what they've been, then the closer you get to the playoffs, the weaker the offensive line is gonna be, which means the weaker that Love is gonna be.
So my question to you is that are you trusting their coordinators that they're bringing into play this year? That their new Brent right out the gate.
I don't necessarily trust their coordinators, but with all the what if and what's going on everywhere else in the division, who's gonna stop them? It's kind of like when people got used to try to point out to me, it's like no, you're a Patriots fan, nobody in the division can compete with them. Hey, not my fault. It's the other teams have better players. They clearly on paper have better players. They got to make it show up every week. They don't make it show up every week. That's not my problem. Right now, the Lions are number 1. They're the Green Bay when Green Bay had Aaron Rodgers when it comes to that division, unless the other teams prove otherwise.
I'm looking at their schedule right now. Oh.
I don't see that they're not going to win their division. I just don't see them sweeping. And the reason I don't see them sweeping is because week 17 and 18 are back-to-back division games. And if they have their seeding already locked up and they already, and everything's done,
they're not going to play their players.
Because it's a Thursday night game. And then wherever it's going to be some kind of random, they get a week and a half off. I mean, maybe they play a half in that.
Yeah,
band.
but
We-
the
It's
but the
not.
problem
I think they
but
could.
the problem with that, I don't think that they're going to sew up the division because they got a lot of they got a lot of what if games. They also have a lot of what if games from other divisions because let's just say,
Well, they play the NFC North or the
yeah,
AFC.
they play the NFC East.
And the
They play the AFC North this year as their.
that's
Trust.
not.
Yeah, and they got some they got the NFC East too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they got a bunch of stuff. Yeah. They play the full
Yeah.
full
So-
slate of the East.
So we don't know what the Cowboys are going to be. I put down that it's a win, but I we
Cowboys
don't-
week
if
4.
if Dak comes back and does regular season Dak things, that's not necessarily a win for them.
That's
Come on.
regular season
The
dash.
Come on, tell me you mean to tell me that the Cowboys in week 14 you already can't figure out that they're going to be a 5-win team?
You want me to wear their jersey? Good plan.
Here's what I'm telling you. They may be a 5-win team, but what if that game is one of their 5 wins?
For the Cowboys?
I'll play that game with you. And like, okay, they're a 5-win team. Even if I go along with that, who's to say that game versus the Lions isn't one of their 5 wins?
I don't know.
Then they're gonna have to play. Then they're gonna have to play through. They had to play through last year. The only reason they couldn't completely play through last year was when they played Minnesota was because of injury, and their guys still ripped up that depleted Minnesota offensive line week 17.
Okay. Here's the thing is,
And their defensive side is back now. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. If they come back playing like they were last year before the injury bug shredded them to pieces, that's going to be ugly no matter who the defensive coordinator is. The defensive coordinator his job is to basically know the talent that he has and know what schemes best fit those players like what Aaron Glenn did with them.
okay. So let's go through their schedule here real quick. So the Lions schedule starts out really easy. I think 2 wins right off the top, the Falcons and the Dolphins. I think all of us can agree that the Lions are going to win both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the Texans?
Wait. That's not. Hold on. That's
What
not
about who?
That's not the schedule. They start with the Packers and Bears, and then they go to the Ravens.
Oh, my bad. You're absolutely right. I was looking at the
Yeah, I was like, wait, who?
My bad. Wow.
Like, dude, I specifically was writing this down while I was getting the oil change. Don't be throwing me curveballs.
You scared them. Don't scare him like that.
I'm like, what schedule you looking at?
Wow. Man, I'm glad this is live.
Jiminy Christmas. Are you looking at the preseason?
I was looking at the preseason. I'll kick myself in the shin. It's fine. Anyway, yes, week 1. So, okay, are the Packers a legit contender in the North? Are they gonna be second place just because Detroit's that much better?
I don't.
That line has always plagued them. That line was plaguing them when Aaron was there. That line was plaguing them when Favre was there, especially toward the end.
It's like, what do you expect? What can you garner from them in that? Because it's not.
I expect out of Jordan Love way less than I expected out of Aaron Rodgers, and the reason is because the talent that Green Bay is investing and putting on the field with Jordan Love just isn't to the caliber of where Jordan Love actually is.
I can agree with that, but
much better quarterback than his wide receivers are giving him the ability to be.
That's why they drafted the receiver.
But the other part of that is when he is okay. So it is partially on the partially on the wide receivers, right? But the other part of it, because of his injuries, is on the offensive line, which is huge.
I agree.
Because they can't get chemistry the more he's off the field.
True.
So really, the difference is it's not a lack of talent. It's the lack of the front office and the general manager caring enough about the team and Jordan's career to help him succeed.
Ooh.
That's kind of what it sounds like. Make do with what you got. You'll figure it out. Great.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, the wide receivers that they had, they showed flashes, but
Sure.
They're not consistent.
but like I said, I feel like part of the reason why they couldn't fully get over is because part of the season, like how many seasons has he actually, especially at the beginning, if I remember right, he ends up going out early with something or being down with something, or he's playing, but he's playing injured. And it's like,
I think Jordan Love's been pretty healthy.
well, I know he wasn't last year, and I feel like there was another year where within the past 2 years where he wasn't 100%. I can't remember if it was at the beginning or toward the end.
It was toward the end.
Yeah.
It was in the middle because he was
Right.
during
Yeah,
the playoffs, and
it was something.
That's when they took out the Cowboys.
Yeah, and it was something, and especially those couple of times, there was times in there. Matter of fact, one of the times he went out, they put in the Malik kid from the Titans.
Yep.
And he was able, in the time that he had with the same wide receivers, to look better.
Sure.
Which was weird. So the potential was there for them.
Right. Well,
but that speaks to the fact that there's something between Love and them that a considered bust in Malik seemed to be on a better page with them. And the question is what caused that? And that's the reason why I feel like the Lions pretty much got this sewn up unless somebody steps up and proves them wrong. As much as I love JJ McCarthy, he was in an easy situation. We don't know. There was a reason why the Vikings were looking at Aaron Rodgers until they found out. I guess he must have told them that, hey, I'm gonna be getting married, so I won't be showing up to OTAs. And I'm guessing that's why they said we're out, because they were the first ones that were interested in Aaron. All of a sudden, they said that they were out, and then that's when it came out that he had this personal issue, because people were trying to figure out why people were backing off all of a sudden, and it was like, oh, he has this personal issue, and then everybody's like, well, what's the personal issue? It's personal.
Yeah.
And then we find out, oh, he was getting married and going on his honeymoon. Like, oh, you had to do that then? You couldn't have done that another time?
No.
And I get it. You're Aaron. You have a right to do what you want to do with your personal life. And whoever puts up with it deserves what they get.
Discount, double check, or bust. That's what it is.
Now, getting back to Jordan Love injury, he's only missed 2 games in his career. He has 2 games in 2024, and that's when they brought in your backup. And the reason that I think that he had more chemistry is because they ran a simpler package.
Yeah.
You run 20 plays. That backup quarterback knows 20 plays, and that's the 20 plays that he runs. And next week we'll teach him another 20 and see what we can do. So it's simpler, it's easier. The reads are faster, and it's better.
I will respect that answer, but the problem with it is like people were dropping balls when Love was in the game, and they were catching balls when Malik was in the game. So what was it about Malik that they were catching him?
It was a catchable ball.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing: is there's a reason that
there's something chemistry there. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's part of it is line, and part of it there's a chemistry issue. Something was off.
Okay. So, but is that a then you go that, but that then goes back to the general manager and whoever's running the team to go, okay, these wide receivers don't have chemistry with my quarterback. I need to replace one of them. Well, am I going to replace the $1 million wide receiver or the $20 million quarterback? I'm going to replace the $1 million wide receiver until I figure out the right chemistry, no matter how good a chemistry they have with the backup.
Right.
Yeah, true.
So, all right. So we have do we have them winning Green Bay? Or do we have the Lions going 0-1?
I have them beating Green Bay.
I
have them beating Green Bay. I have them beating the Bears.
Yeah, I got them starting at 2-0.
I have them at 2-0 as well. Then we go to the Ravens. What do we got?
That's a loss. They're not going to beat the Ravens.
I don't think they're going to beat the Ravens either. I don't think they have an answer to stop.
And Homer says, Homer, what's your take? Did he go away? Did he go mute? Why are you staring at the screen? You got to beat the Ravens.
Who are you calling Homer? That's why I'm staring at my screen. I'm trying to figure out who you're talking to. But anyway,
oh man.
I can see that being a loss.
Okay.
And I can see the Browns being a win no matter who they got at quarterback.
You don't believe in the magic of Joe Flacco?
No.
Magic man.
No. Considering the level of their defense, if their defense comes back like we talked about, if their defense, matter of fact, I personally feel like that that Baltimore game could still be a toss-up, because even though they may not be able to stop Lamar, can they slow him down enough and really kind of slow down they have especially with Aiden Hutchinson coming back. If Aiden Hutchinson comes back and can get in the backfield and disrupt Derek, then they can cause some issues enough for that offense to potentially pull out that game. But with the level of defense for the Ravens, that's where I'm like, okay, I can see that as a loss.
For me, I see the week 3 loss to the Ravens being the catalyst that turned Lions defense into an absolute shutdown of a unit, because that's going to be their toughest test on, a rehabbed Hutchinson. It's going to be, a tough test on any, rookies and everything else. I think that's going to be the thing. Even if they lose by 40, right? Let's say they get blown out. Fine. They still have that as that was the toughest thing we did. And look at all the great things that we did well, because they beat us on a couple of this or that. Okay, fine. But look at all the really tough stuff we did really well. And I think that then the next week going to the Browns and then just absolutely dog walking the Browns, I think that is going to turn that defense into just the most solid number 1 defense in the league.
I don't know. I think after they beat that game with the Browns, they lose the next 2. I got them at 3-3 going into week 6.
It's about how defense is actually playing when it comes out of that Cleveland.
It depends.
I don't trust the Bengals defense, so I got them losing to the Bengals, and I got them losing to the Chiefs.
See, I'll take the Lions beating the Chiefs, and I'll take them losing. I'll take them losing to the Bengals only because I think that they might have a little bit of hangover from the Browns dog walk. But I still think they're going to – but if they lose to the Bengals, it's not going to be by a ton. They're going to lose by a score, 3 points, maybe even 4. But I think that's going to be a real close game.
I'll buy the close game part, but I just, like I said, I don't trust especially the Bengals defense.
Oh, I don't trust the defense
either. Especially with the issues that they got going on, and they really, even if they re-sign Trey and they sign and they get Stewart to sign, it's still not going to take care of the other holes unless Golden is really that good. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Al Golden.
Unless he really is that good at of a defense coordinator and is able to pull the best out of what is there. But I got to see it. I got to see it, and I got to see it and consistent enough by the time they get to that game. I got to see that he can do it. Especially with Brett. My God, he better get him in check quick.
Brett's going to be gone by the time they get halfway through this season. He's going to be on the bench and be on his way out. I don't see that dog in him in order to be a corner. I see the diva, but I don't see the dog. And that's what's been killing them is that he talks it. He talks a good game, but then he gets dog walked when he's out there on number one. And you can't talk that game and not back it up. You back it up with a couple of plays and then pound your chest. But the other plays, you get torched, and we see you flail and trying to catch somebody. That's never going to be the case with that.
Unwilling to move off of the number one. It's him unwilling to go play a different position where maybe his talent exceeds that of which he's lined up against.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's gonna win that mismatch, and that's a great leverage position. Okay, yeah, you can't keep up with the number one, but you dominate the slot guy. Or you're great at tackling an open field, so we're gonna turn you into safety.
Yeah, but versus the Lions, who is he gonna cover? Because they got no names and they all problems.
True.
Oh yeah.
That's part of the reason they went as far as they did. They got no namers and they all problems.
No, I completely agree. I think St. Brown creates a problem no matter if you're a number one corner or not. I mean, it's there's a reason he's a top 5, top 7, top 5 wide receiver in the league. It's just like Jamar Chase. He creates problems, just like Justin Jefferson. He creates problems. How good that guy opposite him is.
And that's the reason why I say I don't see that dog in Britt. You go up against Chase, Higgins, whoever's in the slot every day in practice.
Yep.
Ego. Me and you done talked about this, man. This
and you still get dog walks. You still get dog walk, but you bang your chest like you're the number one. You're not the number
everybody one. Can't be Dion. Dare I say it? And I admit it, even though a lot of time he opened his mouth, and I'm like, dude, I know you from Stanford. I know you went to Stanford, I think it was, but stop talking. Not Stanford. What school did Sherman go to?
He went to
Richard Sherman went to Stanford.
Yeah, he went to Stanford.
Oh, okay, he went to Stanford. Okay, I had it right. All right. Like I get that you get there and you're smart, and I get that, and even on the field, I respect, but basically he's not that. So if you're gonna be that, if you're gonna be like a Richard Sherman, I need you to back it up. If you're gonna be like Ronnie, if you're gonna talk like you got the talent of a Ronnie Lott, I need to see it. See, Ronnie talked and you saw it because he hit you. He hit you hard. He hit you fast.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
They're also talking about two different versions of the NFL too.
Yeah, they still.
But bottom line, it happened. You run your mouth, you get out there and you show and prove.
Well, what I'm saying is like there's a different way. Like when Ronnie Lott ran his mouth, he decimated people. Different. It was a different.
It was. I hated San Francisco, but I loved Ronnie Lott.
Because here's the thing: is you could
especially on Super Tecmo Bowl
make up for I missed that guy on that coverage, but the rest of my defense is fast enough to tackle him. And the next play, he didn't even touch the ball. The ball was thrown in his vicinity, and I took his head off. Well, there was no flag, and the guy's dead. That was right. Nowadays, it's all about the finesse and the speed, and what can you do to disrupt that guy from catching the ball without actually touching it? And it's like, you can't talk a whole lot of crap if you don't have that level
speed in order to get it done with it. Yeah.
And that's what he does. He talks a lot of smack, and he does do plays. I'm not gonna sit over here and act like he don't do plays, but compared to the plays the amount of plays that he gets burnt, I feel like there's a his cons are higher than his pros. Yeah. So
his time's coming to an end. I think that one of those
grabbing the corner this year
really well and to change the scenery. And he's going to be one of those guys that if he does that, if he goes to another team, goes to another team, changes scenery, does really well, that's going to be another one. Well, we shouldn't have let him go, just like we shouldn't have let Jonathan Joseph go. And it's like, well, that's two different stories. But yeah, like, okay, fine.
And Jonathan Joseph was good while he was there. He wanted the bag.
He cost money, yeah. And we didn't invest in defense at that point because we had drafted the kid out of Houston, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we got Detroit finishing up with?
I have Detroit at 10-7.
What you got them, Dante?
2,
12 and 5.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh. 11, 12.
Got them 13 and 4.
Yeah, I got them winning more than that.
You got them 14 and 3?
No. Well, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13.
13.
You got them 13 and 4.
Whoa. Who do you have them losing to? You have them losing to the Bengals, the Chiefs? Who else?
I have them losing to the Rams. I have them losing to the Eagles. I have them losing to the Chiefs. And I have them losing to Baltimore.
Because I got them at 11 and 6. So I split the baby between you two.
Yeah. We'll call you.
Because I got them losing to the Chiefs. I got them losing. I'm going back to the thing because I wrote them down, but I wrote down the weeks on there. I got them losing week 3.
Yep.
Week 5, week 6.
Yep.
Week 10 and 11, and week 15.
Wait a minute.
Week 10 and 11 and 15 was the last 3. So I got them losing to. Go back in there. Why am I?
You got them losing to the Eagles like me.
Yep.
And you got them losing to the Giants?
No.
He hasn't losing to the Rams.
I got them losing to the Rams.
The Commanders?
The Commanders and the Eagles. I got them losing back-to-back those games. Both of those games are on the road.
Bengals, Ravens is who you have them losing to, right?
Yep. I have them losing.
The only extra is one of the last weeks, 17 or 18, just because if they're
No, I got them sweeping that out. I have them sweeping that out. After they lose, I have them losing to the Ravens, losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Bengals.
Yep.
Losing to the Rams, losing to the Eagles, losing to the Commanders. And the only reason why I did that for the Commanders and the Eagles is you're playing on the East Coast at 4:25 and 8:20 in November. And golf, the only golf that showed up in the outdoors in the cold.
Yeah.
That's not looking good. And you're going against both teams that played for the NFC Championship the year before.
I think that's one of the only reasons why I think that the week 18 is going to be a loss because it is in Chicago, outdoors.
Yeah, if they have nothing to play for, that could be a toss-up. But
right. And
because I don't think a lot of people are going to be playing. I think they're going to go, you know what, we're good where we are. Dan Campbell's not afraid to play football. They're not afraid to go out and play an extra game if they have to because they're in the playoffs and rest week 18. And if they lose week 18, they don't give it. You know what I mean? As long as it's not going to lose them massive grounds, which I don't think it will. That's the only extra loss that I have.
For them with that.
But the only way that they would sit their players is if they had won most of the games of the season, like I have it going into week 18. If they lose, if they've lost six games, they
should be fine.
Even if
in their division, if they lose, if they're going, because you got to remember they are going. There's only one bye. They're not going to get the number 1 seed this year.
No.
Right.
So if you're not playing for the bye, then by that time they've been clinched because everybody else, when we go through the rest of them, nobody else is going to hit double-digit wins in the NFC North. They're not. They're going to cannibalize themselves.
Yeah.
So with that, We got that one. Green Bay. Green Bay, their first 2 games of their season is probably the worst setup I've ever seen for any team starting the NFL season in their life.
Is it?
They have a Sunday night game, and then they're the first Thursday night game.
Oh.
There is no way. And you start out with Detroit, and then I think it's Detroit, and then they play going to the next one.
Commanders.
And then they got and then they play Washington back to back.
Oh, 4 days later. That's
right. That's 0-2. They're gonna start out 0-2. But then the schedule gods gave them cupcakes, but they both on the road. They gave them the Browns and Dallas back to back before the bye.
The Cowboys in week 4 still have hope. They could still lose that game.
Until the Cowboys make it to an NFC championship game, they have no hope.
Not yet. For us normal people, but the Immortals in Dallas, they think they're going to win it all.
They already sitting up there saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. People probably already got the logo tatted on their arm.
He's at week 4. They still have the hope. They still have hope. They're not.
I want to see the person that for the past 30 years has gotten every single Super Bowl logo tattooed on it and then get it X'd out after they get disqualified. Just for the sake of saying it's always next year. Look at my arm. They told us everything.
I got my whole leg to go.
I'm gonna use another limb. As long as I'm here every year, I'm gonna get it tatted. 65 years later. Pick him up, tattoo him again.
Gotta smooth this out before I run.
But yeah, they
first.
So I got them. I have them at 2-2 when they come out of bye with the cupcakes, and then they are sporadic. And their last 3 of their season is just as sucky as the start. Because you got their last 4 realistically is as sucky as it was at the start. Because you at Denver, then you're at Chicago, then you come home to play the Ravens, then you go to Minnesota.
At least they'll be warm at their last game.
Yeah, at least they'll be indoors for the Minnesota game. But even with that, by that time, if they beat the Broncos, they possibly could lose the last 3.
I mean, I'm looking through this like
their schedule sucks. There's no other way around it. They have runs. They are going to be. This is a Dallas Cowboys schedule because it's going to give you
end season going 1-9.
And you know what? And that's what I was fighting through when I was looking at it. But I still had them going 9-8.
Past week, the only win I can find them past week 10 is the Giants.
That's viable, yeah.
Because the Bears are a toss-up. The Broncos, I think, are going to be much improved.
Right.
I don't think they have the ability to play them. Again, then they see the Bears, a quick turnaround to see the Bears again in Chicago.
The only reason why I gave them victories on there is because those games that they're at home, it's Green Bay. They have that home field advantage. That's the only way. But after that Giants game, it's a toss-up. But I just went and said, okay, you got
Vikings. I'll give you maybe they beat the Vikings at home. I can agree with that.
Right. But other than that, it's a toss-up. But I went more because Green Bay has proven that they can do it. I gave them the victories on that side of it, but it still can go either way because 9-8 can easily turn into 5-12 real quick, especially with an injury or something else with that.
On a generous end, I have them 7 wins.
See, your generous is probably what I was looking at when it came to Minnesota.
I'm not generous. I'm only generous because I'm giving them a Bears win at home.
I did too. I gave them both of them against the Bears, actually.
I gave them 1-1. I think I gave them 1-1. No. I think I gave them 1-1 with Minnesota. And I gave them the Bears at home, but I don't think they're going to beat the Bears.
Not Bears. No, you know what? I split them with the Bears too. I had them winning at home, losing on the road.
Yeah, because I'll agree with you on the 2-2. After going into their bye, and then week 6 and 7, I have them losing. I have them beating the Steelers and the Panthers. The Eagles beating the Giants.
Yeah, because I had them losing to the Bengals, beating the Cardinals, beating the Steelers.
I think the Cardinals defense is going to be good enough
They got show
get points down.
Because even looking back at our records when we did the Cardinals, I don't have faith in the Cardinals because every time everybody even remotely gives them some type of they should be good, they wet the bed.
I think that I don't think they're going to be Super Bowl contender until Kyler Murray is no longer 5'6".
So that means never.
I don't.
Glad you picked
They're going to have to come off of Kyler.
Their defense has gotten a lot better. Their defense from last year to what's projected on paper this year is a nice step forward and is really going to limit the amount of points these mediocre teams like Green Bay can actually put on them. So it's going to give their offense a shot. And while, yes, I completely agree that Kyler Murray is not the answer, he's the one you're paying the money to, so you have to figure it out.
That's that bad contract that you're going to have to win.
Offensive line.
What's that?
Offensive line.
Well, I mean, everybody has offensive line troubles.
Right. But the problem is like the reason why as to his point, they say, oh, Kyler Murray's looking great. This is definitely going to be their year. It's because they play the mediocres.
Really well.
They can't get to him in the backfield.
Yeah.
And he looks great. And he runs around them and he's looking awesome. And then everybody's like, oh man, did you see the Cardinals? Oh, they're going to do it. Oh, this is definitely, they're going to win the division. They're going to take it down. And I'm like, who did they play? And they play somebody with a mediocre defense that can't really get to the quarterback. And I'm like, yeah, call me when they start playing people in the division.
Yeah.
Or call me when they play the Eagles.
I agree. So like they're the quintessential 500 franchise.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they are. They're going to be good enough against the mediocre to bad teams where they're going to beat the brakes off of a Cleveland Browns. And then they're going to look like they belong in, high school Division IV football when they play the Rams. Like that's just the way that it's going to be. Like that's who the Cardinals are going to be until Kyler Murray is no longer their quarterback.
Yeah.
And
they've had opportunities to walk away, but they didn't take it.
And they should have recognized bad
short Oklahoma quarterback that always somehow, some way can win the game for us. It's the hype. He's a short Oklahoma quarterback. They always can somehow win the game for us.
Yeah, there's two of the Oklahoma quarterbacks in the NFL that somehow just find ways to win games, and neither one of them are Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, right? That's the part that's horrible.
Wait, now. If he's playing a mediocre team with a non-tough line, then he can win, and he can even come back and win.
If he can look over the defensive lineman, then he's good.
But he's not your start. He's not your starting quarterback's going to win you a title.
I can't see over him.
And his attitude, his attitude.
Now,
his attitude to the whole thing, I feel like is holding him back too.
All right, here's the one caveat.
Because it's Call of Duty or bust.
All right, so the one
bust pipes
about Kyler Murray and the Cardinals before we move on is a player like Kyler Murray. Let's move him off and put in Baker Mayfield.
Oh, they will be a 10 and 11 win team.
I think they would and I think that they would be winning the NFC West every other year.
I don't know.
I think they'd be trading it back and forth with the Rams if you put Baker Mayfield on the Cardinals right now.
That line.
Baker Mayfield doesn't need a line. He's proven it.
He does need a line. That's why he's over in the south going 9 and whatever. He'd have more wins if that line was a little better.
You also don't have a contract either, so you'd have more money to pay the line. Baker doesn't make nearly as much as Kyler.
Yeah.
All right, so Green Bay, I got him at 9 and 8. You got him at 5 and 12. Dante, what you got him?
It's weird. No, I have him at 10 and 7. But a lot of the games they're toss-ups, like the Steelers. the Steelers could beat the Packers. I don't know that they will.
This Belichick against the old team. That might be a rallying cry.
The Broncos, I got them losing to them, but they might win that one. I got them splitting with the Bears. They could, like you said, they could win both of those. The Ravens, yeah, I don't really give them a shot because I don't think their defense will be able to handle Lamar enough. And then the last game against the Vikings, I got them losing that one just because I have the team splitting, but they could very well win that one. These schedules are weird because they have teams that have made changes, that have made additions that you want to say that's where Green Bay is. We know how good they can be, but the problem is they're not consistent enough on that level. So
that's why they split right. Because
just like with the Commanders,
it's like
I put down. You said that they were going to lose to the Commanders. They could very well beat the Commanders.
Yeah,
because as good as Jaden is.
Oh man, Jaden is different level of quarterback.
As good as Jaden is, they could still lose that game week 2.
They could. You're absolutely right. Jaden Daniels is not a perfect quarterback, and you're absolutely
right. I got him winning against the Cowboys, but again, Dak is a winning quarterback during the season, and he now has 2 speed receivers to throw to. They even though I have it down as a win for the Packers, they could very well be
a loss. Does he have the arm to get it there? Does he?
Huh?
Does he have the arm to get it there?
We don't know because he never does it.
Right, he never chucks it.
Cool that you don't use, you lose, man.
Yeah, I know. Yes. That is true.
There and you're back with is the Red Rifle down there again? Who's their backup?
No, he's in Carolina. Who is Dallas's backup now? Because they're the backup they had last season left.
Yeah. Crap. Who was it?
I don't know. Let's pull it up.
Cowboys. Depth chart. Watching somebody. I thought it was somebody that's a rehash. Was it? It's not Trey Lance either.
Joe
Milton the third. That's right.
They
traded what's it called to the Patriots.
Yeah.
So Milton the third will be the starting quarterback by week 6.
Joe Milton, your primary backups.
Milton will be Joe Milton will be your starting quarterback by week 6, and then he's going to somehow lead the Cowboys to a miraculous run, and then we'll never hear the end of it. Oh God, that just spoke that.
So Joe Milton being the primary backup will only show up as if Dak Prescott is going to miss the whole game. If he has to go in middle, like if he gets injured for the rest of that game, Cooper Rush is going to take over to finish that game.
He's not there anymore.
No, Cooper's gone.
Cooper's gone.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is Dak?
That's how they ended up. That's how they ended up with Milton.
Yeah, Cooper Rush left and went to search
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then they might bring him back.
They're not going to bring him back. He left them as soon as he had the chance to. Like, I ain't dealing with this crap. I'm out here.
I want to go win a ring.
I'll go back up Lamar for all this.
Wait a minute. Let's not go that far.
Team.
I mean, he gives Baltimore a more viable backup than Hundley.
Oh yeah.
No. I was talking about that comment about I'm gonna go win a ring. Stop. Slow it down.
All right.
Okay. No. Okay. Let's be honest. If you were a free agent.
Yeah.
And the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys offered you the exact same money, the exact same years, and you went, primary focus is going to try to win the Super Bowl.
I'm going to Baltimore.
Who's going to win one first?
I'm going to Baltimore. I'm not dealing with that circus with Dallas. I don't. The circus with Dallas,
From a winning standpoint, I'm from a winning standpoint.
you got to go with Baltimore. You got to, because no matter what, here's the thing: if you say you're going to Dallas, you're going for the pomp and circumstance of Dallas with the hopes that everything will click and you get to the playoffs and possibly win a game.
Well, no, because they do get there. They're like the Steelers. They get there. They just wet the bed
Right.
as soon as they get there.
Right, and that's the thing. Do you want you going for the pomp and circumstance? Woohoo! I'm in Dallas. We're hosting the game, and then we get blitzed by a team that shouldn't even be in the playoffs, 40-17.
Now your performance has zero impact on the game itself.
Right, you just sitting on the sideline like this.
You are the backup quarterback. Everybody's staying healthy.
You sitting on the sideline with your phone watching the score from the Baltimore game, and Baltimore's moving on, and you're losing.
Board marking off plays.
Right.
Which one?
That didn't work for him.
No,
He got sacked. Yeah, he could. The offensive line just said "Ole." Yeah,
right.
I don't do everything for it.
I don't know if there is when you compare healthy to healthy down the paper, if you're going to find many differences that put Baltimore over the top of Dallas. But when you get to the top end and you look at how those franchises are run, I'm taking Baltimore because I feel like they're a much better run organization with less circus, less BS, and less things.
Don't have P. Diddy as your owner, all in the videos, all in the press conferences saying, "Look at me."
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. He wants it like Diddy ran bad.
But
it's killing people.
Looking down the paperwork, I don't know if I don't know if you could find a more evenly matched, pretty evenly matched team.
No, and that's the problem with Dallas. That's the problem with the Dallas fans. Dallas fans sits there and they get their paper and they sit up there saying, "Oh my God, we have this and we have this and we have this. There's no way we should be a bad team." And then what happens? They end up wetting the bed.
They're a bad team.
And then they sit there and be up to like, why does this always keep on happening to us? And then you have Stephen A. Smith sitting up there with a cigar and a sombrero. So they say, "How about them Cowboys?" every single year as soon as they lose.
Because people give him so much crap because they say he's such a hater. So I really don't blame him for gloating. I actually
That's awesome.
would love to gloat on people when I sit up there and I try to tell them stuff, and I don't, because I gloat in a different way. It's like I'll try to tell them something, and then they'll say, "Nope, you just a hater," and then what I say comes out to be fact, and I go, "What happened?" And that actually pisses them off even more than me gloating, believe it or not. I actually pisses them off worse. I'm like, just what happened?
Right. And that's the part, that's the jerk part of me. I'll just be like, so can you just rack my footage from 2 years ago and play it again? We did it last year. Just play it again. I don't even have to say anything. Just play the footage. Do like you say right like this. I told you so.
All right. So with that, I believe we are on the Bears. The Bears.
The Bears. Rest in peace, George Wendt. 8-9.
8-9.
Yeah, I got them 8-9. I got them better than what they were, but and you trust me, this hurt me to give them 8-9 because you know how much of a Caleb Williams fan I am.
Are you?
No, that was sarcastic.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, what?
That was sarcastic.
Like that's news to me.
But I am a Ben Johnson fan, and I think that they'll be improved, but not enough to get over 500.
And
because their back half of their schedule is about as demonically bad as it could possibly be after that bye. Because I have them at 3-1 getting to the bye.
Well, I'm sorry, the 49ers is a toss-up because we don't know what they're going to be. I told you I split with them on the Packers. They could end up winning both those games depending on what the Packers are. I literally hate these because I'm a person that I believe in looking at the talent and knowing what people have. You can't say you know for a fact that they're going to be better, which is why I agree somewhere in the ballpark of your schedule because of the fact that he had. You can say whatever you want about the fact that he had a defensive coordinator as a coach. Last I checked, so does Jaden Daniels,
Right.
but he has a good, but he has a good offensive coordinator on the team.
Right.
And that's another thing I will talk about next week. Like, does the offensive coordinator actually have to be the head coach? I
No,
don't believe so.
no.
I don't believe because there are people that are head coaches
They
that
call
are
the play.
offensive that are not successful.
Right.
So
There's guys.
I think you just have to have a good offensive coordinator in the building.
To help you draft the plays. And you see that, and that's why, like, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week. So I don't want to go
Yeah, for
off
sure.
subject. But my thought process with that is that you look at if you look at the Bengals situation, Callahan ran the offense, but what's called the plays. Taylor called the plays.
Yeah.
So now and then when Pitcher took over, Pitcher was the quarterback coach, so Pitcher knew what Burrow liked, so he was referring more plays than what Callahan did that was fit what Burrow wanted to do. Thus, you saw the impact against Burrow's game this season with that. Now, with another year under their belt and everything coming back, that's why it kind of makes it to where they might be something dangerous because you saw what they could do in his first year with, like you said, the coach calls the plays, but the coordinator's in his ear saying, look, in this option, this look, you go here. If that audible to this in there, this is what we call in there for it, yay or nay. He say yay, and it goes through versus you don't have that in your ear as with some of the other coaches because they're offensive guru. Daniels, Miami's coach, sitting up there the whole while. Yeah, we're gonna do this. And shoot, Josh McDaniels is the carbon, it is the prototype for that, where he didn't want nobody else calling the plays for it whenever he was a head coach, and he never succeeded because he didn't know how to manage being a head coach and divvy out that while also holding on that responsibility of trying to run the offense that he ran in New England with every single spot that he went to.
Yep.
He's better as a offense coordinator.
He's better as a coordinator than having the complete control. So I got the Cowboys. I said the Cowboys. The Bears at 8-9. Dante, you said roughly around the same spot. 8-9, 7-10.
Squeak them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's always like this though.
I got him with 5, but I got him with 5 wins, but
you feel bad about having them at 5, thinking that they could possibly go higher.
For sure, and
that's where I am too. I feel bad about not getting. I feel bad. I was at 6. I felt bad, so I gave him 2 more. So
and see, that's why I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go with what I had in my head, and I said 8. I gave him 8, knowing good and well it could drop to 5 or 6, or he could wet the bed and not. I've been using that word a lot. He could not paint his fingernails and get mad because they had the wrong color polish, and next thing you know, they are 4-13 or 3-14, and they're looking at him like, what the heck is going on?
I think if more outside influences affect Caleb Williams' game like that, I can see this being his last chance to really be a shot caller for himself in the organization. And I think that the organization takes back a lot of control and a lot of things and a lot of the leeway they give him to make him comfortable to play. And they do a the highway situation with him.
They have to. And I think I sent you guys last week.
According to Ben, according to him, Ben has been making him uncomfortable.
Good. Because here's the thing. Because I sent you the video. I think I sent you the video of him when he showed up and he was mad because he felt like he was better than Spencer Rattler. And he sat there and threw a fit. And that's what made him want to transfer out of Oklahoma, because they never promised him that he would be the starter over Spencer Rattler. His ego made him feel like he was better than Spencer Rattler. And Rattler was a borderline Heisman candidate when he was the quarterback there for it. And he felt like he shouldn't have sat behind him. And Lincoln Riley didn't check that. He just said, do what you got to do in order to make it work. And that festered in that Oklahoma locker room. And that made it to where when Riley got the chance to go to USC, he was like, yeah, I'm out. I don't want to deal with this. And then what did he do? Called Caleb, was like, oh, you can come start over here with me. And sat there and brought him over for it. And that's why he is that coddled, you are the golden child person that needs to deal with that adversity. Because every time, and I've said it before as a USC fan, every time he's dealt with some type of adversity, he's folded. I watched that whole quick replay of that ball game when they were up and he sat there and folded and they lost to Tulane.
Yeah.
Because he was making bonehead decisions and they were making bonehead decisions. He's not a leader to me. He's not ever going to be a leader to me unless he grows up. And you can't make a kid grow up unless you force him to. And I hope that Ben is forcing him to, because if you're trying to give the keys to a storied franchise to a child that hasn't grown up, Chicago's right back in that cycle.
And that's where that story that came out about him and his dad, that is going to take on a whole nother effect if they have another losing season. I feel like people are trying to give him a pass. They say, well, I don't expect him to have a winning season. Why not? He was the number one draft pick.
Right.
He was number one draft pick. You felt like he was the most talented. You talk about his talent. But yet you see what he got going on upstairs, and then all of a sudden you want to make this sidebar caveat back door for him to, oh, well, you don't have to be up to those expectations like everybody else. It's okay. It's okay.
It's not okay. You got drafted number one. Every person that's gotten drafted number one ahead of you, that's a quarterback, has taken and made the steps, except for Trevor Lawrence. Even he got his team to the playoffs at least once. You cannot sit there and you can't stop. They have to stop. This goes back to the first conversation we had. We have to start holding people accountable for their position and what they are drafted in and what they do on and off the court and the influences that they have there. Because at the end of the day, like they say all the time, your quarterback is the CEO of your team. That is the first person that gets interviewed. That is the first person that the camera goes to for that. That's the first people they look at too on the sidelines during a football game to see what their demeanor is. And your demeanor and your whole actions that you have done throughout your career in college and in the pros has shown that whenever something goes wrong, you cry like a bee.
Yeah, like you look at the draft class that he came out of, and now he is young. He's only 23.
Well, here we go.
They're asking quite a bit of a 23-year-old that I don't even think that he understood the gravity of what he was asking for when he got drafted. So when he came out and he was like, no, I want ownership stake and all this kind of, you get those like wild stories where you're like, what are you talking about, man? Like, read the room a little bit. And I really think that he had that. I don't know how hard this is going to be, and I don't care how hard it's going to be because, well, I'm me. So why is it going to be hard? Everything else has been easy. And it's like, but see who you went with, who else came out with you, right? Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Are you willing to swap those? So if you are the Bears at this point, do you go?
Oh, they for sure
drafted Jaden Daniels.
They would have for sure drafted Jaden Daniels. If they, looking at revisionist history, they would sit there and be like, "Oh, man, he took," because you have to think about it.
Washington, Mayo.
Washington was nowhere
Next.
near the radar.
Well, see, I don't.
Anybody's radar last year.
Now here's the next question: Is does Drake May still stay in New England, and do you just flip flop the Commanders because the Commanders would take Williams? Don't you think? Or do you think that they move off of Williams and then you have Williams falling?
I mean, Williams
the
falling.
next quarterback is what? Penix?
Yeah, I have Williams falling. I would have thought that Williams would have went to Atlanta, and that wouldn't have been good for him.
No, well, see, and that's the thing for me. Like, I'm looking down and I go, okay, if you take Caleb Williams, right, Jaden Daniels, obviously, well, okay, not obviously, but so far,
right, Jaden Daniels has proven to be he was the top one.
Should have been your pick. Okay, fine.
Right.
Then, but if you take that out and you go, oh, okay, well, the Commanders still needed a quarterback.
So you had Drake May. Drake May was serviceable, but he had
or does
he had to get an ego check,
or does Washington really screw up with people and go down and take Marvin Harrison Jr. or bolster the offensive line and go get a veteran?
They could have, and that was what the thought process was that they were going to do, and then Jay just jumped off the board with his pre-draft.
If I think if the Commanders had the number one pick overall, Jaden Daniels would have been the number one overall pick. I don't think Williams was a solid. I think the Commanders were always going to pick Jaden Daniels if he was available. They would not have picked Caleb Williams if he.
They would have, because they was looking at this.
Right.
They weren't just looking at the talent. They was looking at the maturity that Daniel had when he was in there.
You know that there's a rumor about USC quarterbacks, right?
There's always been a rumor about USC quarterbacks.
NFL work?
No, that they that was a lot of their problem. Which is bad because he didn't spend all 4 of his years at USC.
No,
so ending up at USC was just it was a coincidence. But
you have to think about it. When they show up into Southern California, with as the man on campus.
Yeah. Anything you want like that.
Anything that you want is at your beck and call.
Yeah.
And you already were known because you were a Heisman Trophy candidate beforehand at Oklahoma before you came there. So you already have that on there for that. The diva part that comes out of that, it can be game 3. If you show out and you didn't threw for at least 12 to 13 touchdowns in the first 3 games in that season, you are a god in USC lore until you start losing. And then they start asking, does the god bleed?
Unless you have a legit reason to not win your national title, like, oh, the BCS screwed us.
Right.
We should have been in the national title game, but the BCS screwed us, a la Carson Palmer. Like, other than that,
right. Carson and Juan Sanchez were the only two. Were the only two that you can sit there and say they had that diva persona, but at least they earned it where they got natties.
See, and that's the thing is, for me, like, Carson Palmer didn't really develop the diva persona, or at least it didn't come out of him until
he was here.
Until after he got injured, and it was expected to be this larger than life Superman coming back and not having any kind of apprehension of people being at his feet when he just got his knee blown out 6 months ago. And not letting.
And then he comes back, and then the Bengals drafted the '90s offensive line and put him out there in front of him, and he couldn't stay up to save his life. And then
Carson Palmer.
Yeah, and then
had a good offensive line. He got shotted, which is why he got injured.
Well, I'm talking about after he came back from the cheap shot. After he came back from the cheap shot, there was a lot of games where he could not stay upright. And then that's what eventually led to that arm injury, and he knew he needed the surgery. And I tried to tell people, he sat up there the year it happened, because it happened pretty early in the season, if I'm not mistaken. And then he said, well, I'll get a second opinion. He waited until around February of the next year, and then he got the second opinion. He's like,
oh my God, that offensive line was horrible.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, he could not stay upright when he came back. And then that ended up leading eventually to that arm injury, and then he said they kept telling him to hurry up and get a second opinion. He waited until the beginning of that next year. Then he got a second opinion. He's like, "Oh yeah, I need the surgery. I'm gonna have to miss this season." I looked at
I don't
everybody.
blame him.
I looked at everybody and I said, he don't want to be there no more. He's being subtle about it and hoping somebody catches the hint and drops him. And they didn't catch the hint. So when he came back fully recovered, he said, "Yeah, I ain't coming."
Their offensive line that year in 2010 was Andrew Whitworth at left tackle, Bobby Williams at left guard, Kyle Cook at center,
He's a problem.
Dennis Rowland, no, Dennis Rowland at right tackle, and Anthony Horn at right guard.
Yeah, he couldn't stay upright. And that's
He couldn't
that's
stay
what led to
upright.
that injury, and he had gotten tired of it. But he was subtle about it. He didn't want to be like a lot of people and be out there and be and come off unnecessary, come off pompous, if you will. So he was like so he waited. He was strategic about it. He waited until the beginning of the next year, and he found out he needed a second opinion, which he could have found out after he got the first the first. He could have got that second opinion quicker than he did. Is basically what I'm saying. And as soon as he did it, when he did it, which was at the beginning of the next year, um, I said he don't. I looked at some Bengals fans and I said he don't want to be there no more.
I knew it
And
when he
and,
did that.
and
I was
people
like, it's over.
and
Yeah.
people called me a hater, told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And then the
That's
next year came,
for the home.
and he's like, "Yeah, I ain't coming." And I looked at everybody. I was like, yeah, I remember having a conversation about this. You were saying,
And see, that's why that's why that
Found the fleece of a lifetime and sent him to the Raiders for 2 first-round picks in a second, I believe.
yep. And that's what gave you AJ Green and Andy Dalton.
Yep, that's
The
exactly.
rest is history.
Yep. Now, okay, so back to the Bears. I think we all have them a losing record, right?
Yeah, they should be a losing record. Now, here's my question to you guys as we wrap this up, because we only got probably we didn't ran over. We don't care.
"Oh
But
yeah, it is what it is. We were
yeah.
having fun. It is what it is."
All right.
Yep.
So we in the last 5 minutes, we got the Minnesota Vikings.
I
So
got them with 4 wins.
Oh, I got him. I think I got him at. Oh, hold on.
you got them at 4?
Yeah,
I don't have him at 4. I don't trust JJ McCarthy, but I don't have him at 4. I have him higher than that.
I'm
Much
giving
higher.
them a possibility of the Bears. I'm giving them a possibility of the Giants. Oh wait, sorry, wrong one. My bad. Vikings. My bad. I gave them the Falcons, the Browns,
I'll give him 8 or 9.
Bears, and possibly the Seahawks.
That's so if it's the that's where I am too. I don't know if I want to give him a win at Seattle or not.
I gave them the win at Seattle, but I'm not confident in it.
If I give them the win at Seattle, they have 9. If not, they have 8. So, but
The Vikings. Vikings, I got them at 7.
okay.
I have them at 7 because that first half of that schedule before their bye, you got the Bears at home on a Monday night. No, you're at Chicago on a Monday night. That's a loss.
Maybe.
I got them beating the Falcons, and then I got them losing against the Bengals. Then I got them beating Pittsburgh and
Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
yeah. So that's how I got them. I got them at 3-2 before they hit
I
their.
wonder if your boy still has that magic. That's why I
Ooh,
Them upstairs and then
what's his face still has that magic versus the AFC North.
ooh.
So
Discount check or
yeah, discount double check.
no?
I didn't give it to him against the Lions, but I gave it to him against everybody else.
no,
Because at the end of the day, you have
Steelers are trash.
You have DK Metcalf. You just got Jonnu from Miami. Okay, that's your weapons. Your line and your running back core have not been proven.
and your defense got a year older and slower.
Your defense got a year older, slower, and you don't know if you're going to have your edge rusher.
Right.
So I will never give Pittsburgh, to me, hedge their bets, and this is their final year of relevancy before they go into mediocrity for at least a half a decade.
Yeah, but that's the bad part. They've been in mediocrity for. They've already been in mediocrity.
But this mediocrity will be not even making it to the playoffs. They might end up becoming
that's hitting rock bottom. That's rock bottom for them.
Yeah, that's why I don't in the next 5 years, I don't see what's McCall still being there.
Tomlin won't be there.
I don't think Tomlin's gonna be there. They just signed a GM for another 3 years.
When he can't develop an offense
he's proven that he can't develop offense. He can't get anybody to develop that offense.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you've tried the young hometown star who everybody's going to be behind, right? And he flops.
That's screwed.
And trying the veteran that everybody doubts to give him a nice underdog story. And when discount double check can't figure out how to ring himself out at the register, you're going to be looking at 3 wins in 12 weeks, and you're going to go, crap.
You're going to be able to, like, when you retire, I'm retiring too.
I retire at the end of the year being Mike Tomlin going, you know what? It didn't work out. I'm out. I resign. Or you hold on for another year and make the Steelers fire you because you're 1 win out of 5 weeks.
It's not looking promising. It's not looking
good for the Steelers, man.
I don't feel for him, but I feel for him.
See, here's the thing with and I feel like the Vikings are on this path where they could really start out hot, right? And they can beat and they can go 3-1. There's a possibility they can win 4 out of their first 5.
Right. And I got them at 3, but they can still they can be 4-1 going into the bye.
Pittsburgh, or they beat Chicago right out the gate. They're going into the bye week 4-1.
Right.
And I think that causes them to have this crazy overconfidence, and then
right after that bye week, hell hits them. Because you at Philly, you at home versus Philly, you at San Diego, you at Detroit, then you got Baltimore. You at home for Baltimore. I had them losing all 4.
And then you got to turn around and face the Bears again after you just got that crap kicked out of you for 4 weeks.
Right. And I gave them that win as a bounce back. But then the next 4 after that, you got at the Packers, at Seattle, against the Commanders, and then at Dallas.
And those are all toss-up games. Every single one of those games is toss-up games.
And I gave them all L's.
Seattle, I could give them the win in Seattle, maybe, depending on how well the Bears
develop.
Bears game goes really well. I could see them winning in Seattle. And I see them playing a really good game in Washington. They're not going to win, but I see them playing a really good game. I can see them beating Dallas. I know I can see them beating Detroit. But then it comes down, and week 17 and 18 are going to matter. And
you see the Vikings beating Detroit?
No, the Giants.
The Giants. And then because I have the Giants.
17 and 18 are really going to come down and matter. And if Detroit already has it locked up, and they would rather play, let's say, somehow it works out, and if Detroit goes, you know what, we'll just punt this game against Minnesota so they can get in the playoffs.
He don't do that.
No, we could beat them.
He don't do that.
Them.
You know he doesn't do that.
You know what? I don't know about Dan Campbell after what happened last season. I think if they're not in a bye slot for that, he's going to play them. He's going to play them in order to keep them fresh for it. If they have the bye, he's going to rest his starters. He's not going to let them. He's not going.
Yeah, but didn't he play him last time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to do the opposite. He's not going to gamble on that again because that's going to make. He's not going to put them at risk to get hurt or anything going into that week of that. I think he learned his. Dan, if anything, Dan has showed that he's learned his lesson. He learns his lessons and adapts well. after it happens. He doesn't be so stuck up doing the same thing over and over again.
I think in those last 2 weeks, it comes down and he gets an option of who he gets to play in the first round of the playoffs by winning or losing. I think he punts a game if he gets a better matchup for losing against one of these to get himself a great matchup week 1, where maybe he only has to play his starters a half.
He might, and that's going to be interesting to see that play out.
I mean, as much as I like Dan Campbell's style of balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, don't stop until your heart gives out. Like, that's all well and good, but you got to show that you're a little smarter than that sometimes.
Yeah,
make that your public persona, but then allow your ego to go away when you're in private, going, "Hey, I'm going to be a real strategist."
Then that's not really your persona then. And
well, there's difference between your public face and then what you do in the background. As long as it's all in service of the franchise being what it's.
But if it don't look the same, then people will pick it out. I will see it. Okay. People like me will see it and be like, "Yeah, I call BS." Like, no,
it's about him.
The other part about that we have to understand is that he's not
wins.
Right. He doesn't have
a different strategy going into, let's say he's going into the last 2 weeks of the year and he goes, you know what? We're resting all of our starters because we have everything locked up. It doesn't matter because if we win both of them, we play this people. If we lose both of them, we play the same team. We're going to sit our starters for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we also always have to take into account that this is not the same staff that he went into last year with.
But every time he goes up to the microphone, it's, well, no, we're not going to rest our starters. We're not going to rest our starters. We're not going to rest our starters.
And then you rest your starters and be able to like, look, I'm like,
Care if in the first round of the playoffs he comes out and wins? Do you care that he lied to you?
No. Because if he wins, he wins. That's that's the cure all for everything.
Oh, man. Like, I'm all for having, like, it's a business. I don't care. Like, you know how many things I get told in at my job just ain't true. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Over you get told a lot of things.
Yeah, me too. Include my current job. So yeah, I get it. but he does care about his character. And that's why he has said this whole time, his thing he has said is like, I know there are a lot of people that think I'm crazy for doing what I'm doing, but this is who we are. This is our face. And I will wait to see if he will, as you said, because if you're going to do an about face, then you do a complete about face. The thing that gets you in trouble is when you sit up there and say, oh, well, yes, I'm still that guy. And you're not. People will respect you more if you say, hey, I learned this lesson and we're not going to do this again.
Yeah.
And in comparison, they will respect that more. Then you don't have to worry about if you win or lose. And that's the other thing that people tend to forget is like, don't stick with that if it's not working in your favor. You know, but don't say, oh, I'm sticking with it, and then come out and do something else. And whether you win or whether you lose, there are going to be some people that go, I don't know if I can trust his word, because you ain't going to win forever. And that lie is going to come back up, because that's what people do. Whether we like it or not, that's what people do.
Yeah.
But with that,
you really only care about the end result, because if you're trying, I mean, how many people, when they hear about a team throwing out or going to their best player that's injured and making or encouraging them to play injured, and then it ends their career, and now you're left with, oh, well, we won this game because this guy's heroic effort, but his career's over because, well, the coach said we're a hard-nosed team that plays through injuries.
Just be like, oh, darn it, ye. He got hurt, ye.
Not me. I didn't get hurt. I don't play sports.
Oh, not shoot. I'm too old to do it. I just talk about it.
Right. And with that, it's been another fun episode. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
we went over. It's just we
Look,
can't help it.
we
It's
all
fun.
on the call online in our comfort zones. I mean, I'm kind of in my comfort zone, but I'm in my comfort zone. But shoot,
Get a little more
folks,
comfortable. What other?
right, folks, we can go the 2 hours, 2+ in there, and just take it as bonus coverage.
Right.
Enjoy. It's not a discount double check. We're going fat and happy.
Check. We're triple.
Yeah, and
Do with my weight. Knock it off.
Hey, I'm not talking about your weight because I'm just as chunky. I'm about to go eat right now. Dad bods.
I
Yeah.
know, right? I
Look,
know, right? I definitely need to eat, and it's showtime, so to speak, that WWE. But until next week, we'll see everybody later.
All right. Have a good one, folks. Have a great week.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yep, later.
Yeah.